Many people keep their distance from bitter melon because its bitterness is too strong. Today I will teach you 3 tips to remove the bitterness of bitter melon, making it fresh and delicious. So much so that even those who usually don't eat bitter melon will fall in love with it. Hello everyone, welcome to Jinmang's Life Tips. Method 1: Membrane Removal. First, it is very important to choose fresh bitter melon. Fresh bitter melon should be bright green and feel hard and elastic. Do not buy bitter melon that feels soft or has turned yellow. After selecting good bitter melon, we should wash it thoroughly with clean water to remove any dust and dirt on its surface. Next, use a paper towel to dry the surface moisture of the bitter melon. After drying, place the bitter melon on a cutting board and use a knife to cut off both ends, which makes subsequent operations easier. Then, cut the bitter melon in half lengthwise. After cutting, you can see the white spongy substance and the flesh inside the bitter melon, which need to be removed as they affect the taste. You can use a spoon or a melon baller to scrape along the inside wall of the bitter melon to remove the white membrane and the flesh together. During this process, be patient and scrape carefully until you ensure that the white membrane is almost entirely removed. After scraping with a spoon once, you will still see a thin layer of white membrane on the inner wall of the bitter melon. The bitter substances in the white membrane are more concentrated, so we still need to scrape off the remaining white membrane using the spoon. Scrape along the curve of the inner wall of the bitter melon with force to remove the white membrane. In areas where the white membrane is thicker, you can scrape back and forth repeatedly until some areas reveal a relatively clean light green flesh inside, achieving a state similar to that in the video. After removing the white membrane and seeds, just rinse the inside of the bitter melon with clean water again. If you are really afraid of bitterness, you cannot skip this step, as it can remove over 60% of the bitter taste. If you are still worried about the bitterness, then proceed to the next step to completely eliminate the bitterness. Method 2: Salt Method. Place the bitter melon that has just been preliminarily processed on a cutting board. Use a kitchen knife to slice the bitter melon into small pieces. You can cut them a little thinner. The thinner they are cut, the better the salt will penetrate, and the better the bitterness will be eliminated. Put the sliced bitter melon into a large bowl. Take out a packet of edible salt and sprinkle the prepared salt evenly over the bitter melon. Be sure to sprinkle it evenly, and then gently mix with your hands to ensure that each piece comes into contact with the salt. The salt will draw out the moisture and bitter substances from the bitter melon through the process of penetration, and the bitter substances will be extracted along with it, thereby eliminating the bitterness of the bitter melon. Next is the marinating time. Let the salted bitter melon sit for 10–15 minutes. After the marinating time, the bitter melon will lose water. You will see that the bitter melon has released a lot of water and has become a little softer. Next, rinse the bitter melon thoroughly with clean water to wash away the salt and bitter substances. You can gently squeeze the bitter melon pieces with your hands to extract more bitter juice. It's best to rub and wash it while gently squeezing out the bitter juice from inside. Generally, 2–3 rinses are enough. After washing, place them in a strainer or colander to drain and set aside. If you are in a hurry to cook or don't have much time to prepare, you might try blanching them. The effect of reducing bitterness is also quite obvious. Method 3: Blanching Method. Prepare the bitter melon in advance, then cut it into small pieces for later use. Put the sliced bitter melon into the basket. Prepare a pot of clean water and place it on medium-high heat until it boils. Once the water is boiling, directly add the bitter melon into the pot. Add 1 tablespoon of edible salt to the pot. The salt will dissolve in the water, creating a hypertonic solution, and the moisture inside the bitter melon cells will flow out due to osmosis, effectively reducing the bitterness of the melon. Generally, 1–2 minutes is enough. When the time is up, use a slotted spoon to remove the bitter melon and quickly place it in the prepared cold water, which helps prevent the bitter melon from becoming limp after blanching, thus maintaining its crisp texture and bright green color. After soaking in cold water for about 30 seconds, drain the bitter melon in a colander to remove excess water. We can then use it for various cooking purposes. The materials required for this video are shown in the picture. If necessary, you can take screenshots and save them by yourself. Alright, that's it for today's sharing. I hope these methods are helpful to you. If you have any other tips for removing the bitterness of bitter melon, feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget to like and follow for more practical life hacks.